Rapper?
Yes.
Yes.
He was.
Yes.
And he's he serves as on the council, does he not?
He's a member.
He's a member of the council.
Yeah, not on the board of directors.
And he was involved in providing that advice.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Incredible.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. We have, thank you.
All right, this scandal is just so big in number value. I feel a little bit ill, and it's just I'm just getting into it. I don't know if I can tell you to enjoy it, but watch this.
Clear descriptions
And that's
about
why
relationships.
I declared it, sir.
But you still didn't recuse yourself, and
I
so
declared it, and I followed our process. And
but you've now I think acknowledged that your process had some significant gaps. I'm going to put this question to both you and Ms. Verschuren, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it. My Dutch is not so great. You're here, right? You're at a parliamentary ethics committee. To get to this point, there has got to be some significant gaps in governance. Would you not agree?
I think that you have a series of allegations that have been shown in 2 reports to be non-substantiated. I think there are some administrative findings that have been put forward and that we're implementing them.
I think I see unrepentantness and millions of dollars going to their own businesses. More to follow.
I'm putting the question directly to you. How did you get here? What mistakes happened? Is this a witch hunt from somebody else? Is this an axe to grind? I'm giving you the opportunity to share for the good and welfare of the committee, how your organization got into this position, which is the last position an organization like yours wants to get in. You're the chair. Ultimately, you are the corporate governance and responsible for the organization. So in your opinion, how did you get here?
The 345-page submission started with the Auditor General. And so that is something we don't have access to, but we have had 2 separate independent studies that showed that there was no wrongdoing and no misconduct, but that there were areas that we need to improve, which we're doing now. That's how we got here.
Given the nature of the testimony today, I'm going to put it to you one more time. Do you regret not recusing yourself?
We took the approach of listening to what our legal advisor told us. And there were 140 companies involved in this.
Do you feel like you got good advice in retrospect?
I took the advice from our lawyer.
And I'm giving you the opportunity to have retrospect. Now you're here. Your salary's been disclosed. The funding that your organization was it's a pre-revenue company for 4 or 5 years, funded by an organization that you're chairing, and you're receiving compensation. Do you not regret recusing yourself? You could say no if you don't.
I think I took the advice, I received the advice from legal advice, and I think that was the proper approach.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Green. Thank you, Mr. Verschuren. Final 2 5-minute rounds, one.
I felt a little repentant about a song that had lyrics that were a little bit too close to what the Hamas was saying. It seems to me easy, but I like NDP MP Green. I think he's doing an outstanding job. And this is just a scandal we're just starting. No media is covering this. I'm really shocked that I'm learning about this to this level really now.
Projects have been funded by SDTC since 2015.
I think we'll have to get that number for you.
Okay, well,
sir.
because of all the projects that have been funded, only 21 were sampled by RCGT in their preliminary review, and nearly $40 million in suspicious payments were found. In my first exchange with you, Mr. McConaughey, you said that the first time you saw the report from RCGT was in September, but when I jogged your memory with a quote from you, recordings of you agreed that you first saw the findings in May.
Yeah, you heard that right. Secret recordings, $40 million, and that's the beginning.
You then said that although you asserted in the recordings that we've heard that on June 7th the minister would be briefed on RCGT by the DM, that you don't know if that happened, but the minister said that he got the brief in September. I asked if you believed the whistleblowers, but what you said in May was, quote, "We said to the whistleblowers, we said we would believe you. Now there's enough evidence to say we really do believe you. That means the government is going to have to take action, close quote. The fund's still open. No one's been fired. Yes or no, sir? Was ISED of the mind at that time to clear house at SDTC? Yes or no, please?
No, they were not. That was my personal opinion.
This was a big deal to ISED. You called it a, quote, sponsorship level giveaway, close quote. Is that correct, sir? Yes or no, please?
It was an offhand remark, sir.
I don't know who's who, but this guy seems to be the one that's, said privately, this is a big deal to the whistleblowers.
When discussing next steps on the findings, was there ever a point when you thought the issues at SDTC were so numerous that you would need to open a new office to deal with this issue? Yes or no, sir?
I discussed the matter with the Deputy Minister.
That's a yes. I want to offer you a quote. You said, you don't want a David Johnston special rapporteur or something where people are like, oh, it's another member of the Liberal elite who's sweeping this under the rug, close quote. Quote, so we're thinking of setting up an office that would be like a new deputy minister, like reporting to the deputy or report to me. We'll see. It depends, I guess, on how the minister wants to run things, close quote. So this is the story. In May, when ISED got the report findings, you were gung-ho, you were ready to fire the board, ready to fire everybody, and then open a new office, a director general and a team, and have a spokesperson, but you just didn't want it to be someone who was the Prime Minister's neighbor or a member of the Trudeau Foundation. You even called it a sponsorship-level giveaway. Then in June, after the minister was briefed, the direction and attitude completely changed. You said, quote, we'll be just amending our current contract to continue the scope of study. What a climb down. I find this incredible, sir. What did the minister say? The question is, what did the minister say in June to halt the plan that you laid out?
I had no communication with the minister throughout this exercise. It's the deputy minister's role to do this. And if I may,
I've heard your response. I don't find it credible based on the recordings that we have from you at the time. I'd like to recap a few things that have been uncovered as well. The chair of the board got $220,000 for her company, and then her salary from that company was $120,000. But this is not perceived by the chair or by SDTC to be a conflict. The president got $200,000 from a meeting for her best friend. This is unbelievable. Ms. Lawrence, can you tell the committee how much in bonuses you have received from SDTC since you've started working there?
My salary is a matter of public record. It's in our annual report, and it's
Bonuses,
approved by the
please,
Board
ma'am.
of Directors. I don't have that information. We'd have to provide it. But
You'll provide it in writing to the committee?
It's a matter of public record. It's in our annual reports.
How many versions of the RCGT report are there, Mr. McConaughey?
it's detailed in the report itself. There's a version control page. I believe it's 4 versions.
And did ISED ask for any parts of it to be removed?
No.
I have to say, it's an incredible story to hear your words today when placed against your words as this has been unfolding. I have about 35 seconds left. I'd like Mr. Brock to take it, please.
So you lucky few who bothered to stay this long, you will be rewarded. MP Brock goes off.
Ms. Lawrence, Mr. McConaughey is on record saying that ISED confronted you, and you admitted that when Osler did their investigation, it was raised to their attention that they weren't religiously documenting conflict of interest. You went and did the retroactive documentary, documented retroactive declarations that she should have made at the time. She didn't disavow it or anything. The grant report also confirms that this was done on the advice of the corporation's external legal counsel. This is criminality. This is fraud. This is forgery on the Canadian taxpayer. This warrants a police investigation.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.
This is staggering.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.
Anything. The grant report also confirms that this was done on the advice of the corporation's external legal counsel. This is criminality. This is fraud. This is forgery on the Canadian taxpayer. This warrants a police investigation.
Brock.
This is staggering.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.
Criminality. This is fraud. This is forgery on the Canadian taxpayer. This warrants a police investigation.
Brock.
This is staggering.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.